NBA trade season is here. NBA draft is here. We're live. Chaz, Five, and Ross also being reported tonight that allegedly Trae Young wouldn't mind being traded to the New Orleans Pelicans. We're going to talk about it right now. Let's do it.
First took away. After this, get your money's worth now.
Presented to you by the Scott Vicknair Injury Lawyers. Have you been injured in any type of accident, car, truck, 18-wheeler, or hurt offshore? Scott Vicknair handles it all. Give him a call, y'all, at 504-500-1111. They always fight for the win. Lito joining as well. Sorry, I got to change up the layout. What's up, guys? Make sure you smash the like button. Chaz, I'll start with you. You know, before we got on the stream, we were talking about Trae Young, but we got to kind of pivot here and talk about the trade that just happened with the Knicks and the Nets. Mikal Bridges, I think it's four unprotected first go to the Knicks. I'm sorry, go to the Nets with Bojan Bogdanovic. Mikal Bridges goes to the Nets. What are your thoughts? Geez, I must screwed that one up. Mikal Bridges goes to the Knicks. What are your thoughts just on that trade? Your thoughts on that trade and how it could possibly affect maybe a Brandon Ingram trade?
Man, I think it's a hell of a gamble by the Knicks. I can appreciate them going for it. And like I said before, it's only an overpay if you don't win a ring. You don't win a ring, it's going to look terrible in hindsight. And those picks probably aren't going to be like incredible. You got an Iron Man in Mikal who's shown and proved he can be a really good third option. At times can even be a good second option. You got Jalen, you got everyone. The only issue is any small bit of regression from that team, and now you look crazy. But for the Brandon Ingram angle, I think it helps in one way and it hurts in two ways. The way it hurts is much like with the Rudy Gobert trade a couple off seasons ago, it kind of set the market. Now, here's how it didn't totally set the market, and that's because Mikal requested to be traded, and he had leverage in this situation. He's like, I'm not signing back with y'all, so do what you're going to do. And the Nets needed to blow this up anyway. Like, they needed to. So it was kind of like inevitable. So that's how it kind of helped and hurt. How it hurt again is if you're a maniac, a lusty maniac like David Griffin, you probably feel like, hey, I can get that for Brandon Ingram. And it's like, nah, no, you can't. It's a totally different situation, right? You got a guy who y'all trying to give away, who didn't really have a market before this trade, much of a market. And on top of that, he's an expiring and he barely plays and he's worth the max. I mean, he wants the max. So it kind of, I hope that David Griffin isn't that fucked up in the head. If he that sick in the head, then this whole thing is a waste of time anyway.
But Chaz, to your point, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
In closing, how it helps is now you have a team like Houston, for example, who, a lot of the reason they did what they did is because they wanted to relinquish some of the reason they relinquished some of that Nets capital is so they could control the Suns' destiny, and they could exchange those Suns picks with the Suns in exchange for Kevin Durant. And hey, the Pelicans happen to have a Kevin Durant on the roster. And if I'm the Pelicans, the smart move to do, bro, it take two teams. In this case, it would take three. Is to go to Houston, say, hey, we'll give you Brandon Ingram. Just give us some assets. Give us pick 3 and a couple assets. And we're going to send them assets to Atlanta, and we're going to get Trae Young. That's the smart move to do. Atlanta gets to totally blow it up. Gets to totally just, that's an Atlanta thing. They get to totally blow it up. They get to totally just tear the whole organization down. And it makes too much sense. You want to send Atlanta 4 or 5 picks, you're going to have to deal with Houston. That's what it comes down to. And that's the smart way to do business. But this is Griff we talking about.
But Chaz, to your point, at least the Knicks are going for it. All right, Jared, let's talk Trae Young here. So reports saying that Trae Young has the Pelicans on one of his preferred destinations. Trae Young, 3-time All-Star. Guy led his team to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like he can be an all-NBA level talent. a point guard that makes complete sense for this team, a perfect fit next to Zion Williamson. Is this the all-in move for Trae Young? Is this it?
If you have the war chest that you say you have, you better use it now, because you may not ever get this chance again. I mean, this is the perfect opportunity for Griff. Like, to be honest with you, if like there was like this only saving grace is Trae Young, a disgruntled guy in Atlanta that needs to get out, get alongside another potential star. His skill set matches the star that you already have that you should be building around. And like I already showed you the clip today, the post today about, the potential assist that he had. Like that match.
I was going to pull it up. Yep.
Right. That matches perfectly for what you want for your team. And it should be go all in for Trae Young and then build around those two for the, next 4 or 5 years, if you can. But if you don't, then that just lets Zion know. I mean, I think Chaz even texted, like, this is like a Zion thing. Zion better say, go get Trae Young. Do everything possible to get Trae Young. If you don't, then this is all on y'all's feet, not on anybody else's.
So Jerry, bring up an interesting point. Do you think Zion has a say in this?
He better. Like, there's no time to be, shy or, playing second fiddle. No, you have to be responsible here. Like, you have to be responsible for your own career. And that means stepping on other people's toes to get your job done, to make your job easier, because apparently you weren't the focus. So now you have to make a point to say, I am the focus. We're building around me. This is what I need to be successful. And that just shows, a level of responsibility if Zion were to do that.
Lito, you have this tweet. Okay, well, if Trae's saying, please trade for me, that changes everything. Go on and make it happen.
Hey, listen, if Trae is flirting with you through the media, he's flirting with you. He's batting an eye at you. He's winking. Hey, come trade for me. I come play for you. He named 3 teams: the Lakers, the Spurs, the Pelicans. How the fuck the Pelicans are in that number is insane to me, right? But the fact that it is, you got to act on it. You got to move aggressively. Like we talked about the war chest and all that other shit. That's bullshit. Fuck it. Fuck. In the words of Les Snead, fuck them picks. I've been saying that for 4 years now. Fuck the picks. What are you holding on to them for? They're gonna spoil. Don't treat the picks like Willie treats the challenges. You can't take them home at night and cuddle with them. You got to get rid of them, right? In this case, you mess around and you let him go to the Spurs. You let him play with Wemby. You let him play with Vassell. You let him play with Sohan and whoever else they incorporate on that team. Or you let him go to the Lakers. You let him play with Brian. You let him play with AD, right? I mean, like, bro, you can literally control your destiny here. You can control your destiny. Not only your destiny, you can fuck over 2 other teams. Like, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful situation to be in. And you know what, guys? Nothing's gonna happen. Nothing.
God, you could say that and end with that. It's unbelievable. A lot of people, Ross, are talking about, Trae Young's defense and all this other all I know is that Trae Young and Zion Williamson are box office, and we're talking about selling tickets and attendance. And you want people to be the Smoothie King Center. These two put asses in the seats. I think this is the home run swing. I think this swing, I don't know what it looks like. I don't know. I have no idea if it will work. But at what point are you going to take a risk? At what point, how many times has a perennial all-star been like, yes, I would love to go play in New Orleans? It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, no, pretty much never. I think the one thing that Chaz said that maybe I agree with most of what he said, but that I disagree with is that I think the Bridges deal did just set the market. And if I'm Atlanta and Trae Young is my asset that is set to be moved and is requested out or quietly requested or whatever, I'm not getting a penny less than what the Nets just got for Bridges. Trae Young is a more accomplished player. He's got more accolades. He's done more in his career as kind of a solo act. He's an offensive weapon that, in theory, you could pretty much put on most teams, and you know what you're going to get on the offensive side of the basketball. Like, I'm not getting a penny less than what the Nets got. Like, that for me is the floor. And so if that for me is the floor, it gets really difficult for like, I mean, yeah, you talk about the war chest, empty that motherfucker is what you're going to have to do. Empty it, because it's going to take Brandon and 3 firsts probably and other stuff. It's going to take a haul. Michael Bridges.
Mikal.
Michael.
You call him Mike. I don't get it.
Good.
Mikal.
And mama name him Michael. I'm going to call him Michael. He has 2 years left on his deal. Very, very like one of the better deals, one of the better contracts in the NBA. Brandon has 1 year left. Mikal is plug and play. Brandon is not plug and play. Mikal requested to, and went to a team with all of his friends, guys that he played with in college, people he has a relationship with. That's not the same for Brandon. Like, there's massive differences in value and in situation here. And I'm with you guys, but just understanding that it's whatever the war chest looks like, and I'm saying empty it. You're going to have to empty it for Trae Young, and I'm fine with it. Trae Young has 3 years left on his contract. He, in theory, fits like a glove with Zion Williamson. Like, I'm all for it, but they better be ready to unload. And I don't know if, like, I don't trust Griff until I see it.
I think the only difference in theory is that the Knicks sent out Bohan. So if you compare, like, as bad as, I'm not a Brandon Ingram fan, but I he's better than Bohan. I'll just say that. So
yeah, but I don't even think, if Chaz, I don't think them sending out Bohan had anything to do with them sending out a player. That was purely for salary matching. I think
for salary purposes. Yeah. What I mean, even with like teams around the league, if they really want to rebuild, and man, not many teams aside from the dumbass Pelicans get the number 1 pick and don't look to rebuild. Mm-hmm. Ain't too many teams that could really match salary and assets. Like, and that, I think it's really, when you really look at it, it's really the Spurs and the Pelicans, because teams that would have interest in a Trae Young is what I mean, really. So it's really like, it's probably it's probably Spurs and the Pelicans for the most part. And to me, the deal, like, negotiations start at Brandon and Hawkins and 3 firsts. That's where, to me, in my mind, is where it starts. And
I agree.
If you want to say Brandon, Hawkins, and Herb and 3 firsts, then it's like, I don't need no receipt. Like, go ahead. I don't need no receipt, because that leaves me like other avenues to do other things.
Good, Jared.
My only rebuttal is like, okay, they sent out 4 firsts, but to them, they should look at it like, if you're the Nets, like, that's like really second round picks, because the Knicks are going to probably be good next 4 or 5 years. So it's not necessarily like those
I gotta cut you off here, Jared, because we have some news coming in here. But allegedly, the 76ers are expected to package their number 16 pick with other assets and pursue the Pelicans' Brandon Ingram.
Oh, you didn't even have to announce that. That was that.
Number 16.
Damn. I need to know what those other. Yeah, go ahead. Let Jared, you can finish, and then we'll address that.
Yeah. But again, if you're the Pelicans, you should see that as, okay, well, they sent out 4 essentially second round picks. Your picks are probably, your first round picks are probably worth more, right? Because if you've been in the bottom of the West, that's probably more so closer to 2 first round picks rather than 4, from my opinion, if you're including Brandon Ingram. Like, that's kind of how I would weigh it. I don't kind of consider that, equivalent. Like, I would have to match what, the Knicks sent out for Mikal, if you want to equivalent that.
So Shane, I see a couple of your comments. I'm starring them right now. We're going to answer this and turn into our own segment, but I wanted to ask Lito this question Lito than Ross, because, okay, so I'm thinking if we do acquire Trae Young, I don't know what it's going to take. Obviously, Brandon, there's going to be a couple other players, I think. Do you think a Trae Young, CJ McCollum backcourt can coexist, Lito? Because to me, that backcourt does not make any sense.
Yeah, I can. I do think.
You think Trae and CJ can be a backcourt?
I do.
You don't worry defensively about it?
I don't care about defense, Justin.
Sorry, you're right.
I preferably would prefer CJ to be the sixth man in that situation. Like we talked earlier, you asked me about DeJounte. If they had DeJounte, I said I'd start Trae and Herb, let CJ come off the bench. I feel the same way in that situation because to me, you get the most out of CJ in that type of role. He can get whatever shots he wants. He can pick and choose when he wants to be aggressive. He can lead the second unit. Now, is he going to accept that role? I don't know, but I do think that if he did accept that role, it could be like a Jamal Crawford type role for him where he could just come in and get buckets. Like, fuck running the offense or looking to pass the ball to Larry Nance. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead and put your shots up and do everything that you've been working on this summer. You've been seeing CJ work out with Kevin Durant this summer. And I mean, he looks like he's in great shape already, which he always is. I feel like now is the time to make that move, right? Like, look, we've been talking. CJ is he's not a core member of the team. CJ he's getting long in the tooth. He's a guy who, if you're really you're about to invest in Trey Murphy, right? You believe Herb Jones is a player on this team. You got to let them spread their wings so they can fly. Like CJ's had his day. He's had his time. It's time for other players to step up now.
Okay, Ross, what are your thoughts on just obviously we're speaking hypothetically here, but Trey CJ backcourt?
That wouldn't depending on who you would trade away to get Trae Young, I would probably move CJ to the bench.
Do you think he would accept that role? Y'all really think he would accept that? I don't care
role? If he doesn't accept it. If he doesn't accept it, then because I think you probably would maybe start looking for a trade for CJ anyway. But if you won't accept it, then it just is what it is. I mean, we're at a point where if you're going to trade for a perennial all-star, a guy on a long-term contract like Trae Young, I don't know why CJ wouldn't accept it, I guess. Like, his minutes aren't really going to change. It's more about how you stagger those minutes. But I think a Trae Young, Herb, Trey Murphy, Zion, and random center X is probably a better starting unit. But again, for me, I don't care. That's just who I would start. I really don't care. I don't think the minute distribution between like those core five players is going to change anyway.
Yeah, go ahead, Jared.
No, I mean, Atlanta got to the playoffs, a deep playoff run with, Bogdan being their second guy. Like, I think they'll be all right with CJ and Trae Young being their 1-2. Like, I think that's okay.
You think so? I mean, I worry about defensively, but once again, I'm with Lito. Like, I don't care about defense. It's all about situational defense for me. So Chaz, I guess, do you want to talk about what a package would look like for Trae Young and like what the Pelicans would have to give up if you got multiple players? Why? No, Ross. You talking to me, Ross? Never mind. Chaz, well, I know you ain't talking to me. What you said last show.
You're talking about that man's package, not me. Don't put that on me. Don't deflect. You know what you said.
Chaz, what would a trade proposal look like for Trae Young?
In theory, I don't even know if they'd accept this, but I'm gonna say Brandon Hawkins and 4 first at this stage. I think at minimum, right? If you throw in Herb, then maybe you're down to 3 first. I think, honestly, I think if
Brandon Herb and 3 first.
Yeah, I think honestly, if the Hawks wanted to rebuild and you got 2 talented wings, Brandon, who you can flip again. Like if you're the Hawks and you just saw what happened with Mikal, you like, well, fuck, I could probably flip Brandon at the deadline for 2 more first or something. Like, you gotta, other teams ain't as dumb as the Pelicans. So yeah, I think Brandon, probably Herb and 2 first to get you Trae by himself. And honestly, 3 first. Honestly, you really should be running to pay that. Like, to me, that's a deal. Like, I do that because look at your first.
So you get
Like-
Brandon Herb 2 first, and then you'll get what? Trae and Capella, Trae and Okongu.
I mean,
Capella-
I don't know how
Capella's
much it
salary.
matter.
Capella's salary.
Like
with
even
Trae
if you got
gets very
Trae, and let's
difficult.
say you got Trae and AJ Griffin, right? That's just hypothetically speaking, AJ Griffin. You should do it. Honestly, I don't think what accompanies Trae matters much because you still got CJ, still got Larry in theory. Like in this particular proposal, still got Larry. I'm sorry. It would have to. Yeah, you still got Larry. You still got a bunch of other stuff you can move. Hartenstein's probably not going to be able to be re-signed. Yeah, you got a ton of different avenues you can go and use to go get you a spot big, because you really just got to try to tread water this year, because you ain't winning. I mean, you ain't really winning this year anyway until you find, what you gonna do with CJ move. Like once you find the CJ move, that's when you kind of like, all right, now this is the time. But until you find the CJ move, then the Brandon move is kind of like, all right, let's kick down the first domino and go from there. So I think, I think Brandon, Herb, and 3 firsts should get Trae.
Jared, there was a comment. It's interesting, right? So obviously Herb Jones, one of your best assets. Herb has quit the Pels defense. We're not trading him. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think Herb can be traded?
Yeah, Herb can be traded. Do I want him traded? No. But it's one of your best assets. I mean, he's probably the only one that's. I think Chaz, you had a show either that was today or yesterday with Bleacher Report. Like that was probably the only guy the Pels have advanced at one point, right? Like or seen growth from. Like that's your only valued option as like a mid-level player. That's all you got. Like you didn't increase Dyson value. You barely increased Hawks value. I mean, I think he just had value on his own. Kyra, Jackson, like you could go down the list of guys that just didn't increase their value while they were here. That's kind of the point. Like if the 8th pick should be the guy that you should have been able to move because he should have been good enough, but now he's not. He's regressed, and now you're in a spot where your crown jewel, your 2nd round pick, the guy you were able to pay last year, you got to move because the other options aren't there or valued enough around the league to be potential moves to be done.
Yeah, that's what because I see some. So yeah, I agree with you. Definitely the best contract in the NBA, but that's why he's an asset of the Pelicans.
You think Herb has the best contract in the NBA?
Definitely one of them for sure. You don't?
I think the guy who just got the 5 firsts.
Mikal, but Mikal's been like he's got one of the best contracts in the NBA.
And then probably DeJounte.
I would,
but not. I see what you're saying, Jazz. Sorry. Go ahead,
look, if I'm the Pelicans, I try to avoid including her. Like I give more first to not include her if possible.
Absolutely.
Like if I'm the Pelicans, my route to get Trae is Brandon, whatever salary filler they want, and like unlimited, like as many picks as they want.
Right.
I mean, it really is as simple as that. And if they say 5, like cool, where do I sign? Brandon, whoever makes the salary figure work, and however many picks they want. I really don't care about the picks anymore. This year is a great example of why I don't care about these picks. Zion didn't play in the playoffs. We still were the 9th seed. We still were a play-in team. And we have picked, 21 tomorrow? Who gives a shit about these picks? Like,
right.
If you're trading for Trae Young to pair with Zion Williamson, 2 guys that should perennially make the All-Star team, you cannot be worried about giving up a bunch of 20th overall picks. You just can't. Like,
also, can I add this? I'm sorry to cut you off, Ross. I just want to say this. If it don't work,
You
would
have
trade
the
Trae Young.
assets. That's why, and you have Zion Williamson for
Yeah.
multiple first-round picks.
Yeah,
I was
you
just
just
about to say
back
that.
anyway.
That's
So,
what like Zion and Trae Young. If you have them both together, like those are assets. Like
if there is
Trey
an
Murphy's
avenue,
an asset. Like this is
right.
what I can't
Justin, you've been
understand.
saying this for the longest. So
Like
yeah.
you can recoup it. Like I just thought, like you're not thinking about that. I don't
Yeah,
give a
if-
shit if
if-
you give up 5 first. I really
if
don't.
that's an option, I mean, look, and to be fair, I think that's an option. I think if you're the Hawks, they probably demand Hawkins. Like, hey, okay, cool, all right, fine, we'll let you keep Herb, but we need BI, we need Hawkins, and I need 5 first. Like, if they call tomorrow with that offer and we don't like immediately do it, then that for me is the problem. Like that, then you're not trying to win. You're not serious about winning. You don't care, because those picks just aren't that. I mean, you were not a playoff team this year. Entering the playoffs, you were not a playoff team this year, and you still end up with a late teens, early 20s pick. Who cares? They're just not that valuable, man. Like nobody. We don't even know. We're
And you
talking.
have Zion Williamson, so like you're trying to win. Your
You
first round
said
picks-
2 days ago, the guy you would rather take Frank from UNO over the Yves
Shout out to
Misi
Frank.
guy or whatever. Shout out
Said
Frank
Jeff-
again.
And Jefferson. Hang on,
Yeah,
Frank.
whatever.
Sure.
Like, think about that for a second. A future pick is more valuable than an actual pick. It just is. Like, that's always the case. Just get rid of them, man. Let's be done with this and let's get actual all-stars on the roster. Like, it's simple as that.
I'm not saying that I prefer to trade her. In the grand scheme of things, like I like her. I think he's a part of the core of the team. But if you're asking me, would a second round pick who's probably reached his ceiling be included in the deal for a multiple time All-Star who's led a team to an Eastern Conference final, can expand the gravity on this team? Like what? Are we speaking like it? What?
That's what I like. Fuck them picks, right? Like, isn't
Man.
that the same?
The,
Like,
the dumb thing about like Herb and see this is what narratives get out of hand, bro. And this is why too much of one thing is never good. Too much praise is never good, and too much, in the other direction is never good. But it's like Herb's a good player, right? All defense first team, got potential to be a defensive player of the year. So, potentially, it's possible. But teams, that's exactly the kind of guy teams trade for. You can't just give a team your dog shit and take their good players. They're gonna want a good player in return. That's how exchanges work. So yeah, the thing is, the Pelicans just happen not to have a lot of good players because they drafted poorly. That's why you're in this situation, and it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
yeah. Make sure you smash the like button. Go ahead, Ross.
No, because Chaz is right. The other way to think about it is like Alex Caruso, who do I think Herb's a better player than Caruso? Yeah, but like the gap ain't that isn't it ain't 50 players
Right.
wide. It's like they're relatively similar in my opinion in terms of value, in terms of what they bring to a roster, everything else. He just got traded for Josh Giddey, just straight up no chaser. So when you think about it like that, it's like, yeah, I mean, if that's what it comes down to, and Herb has to be the sort of sacrificial lamb there to get this deal done, I think it's something you got to do, because it's easier to go find a replacement for Herb Jones than it is to go find a Trae Young that you can actually acquire.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a tough move, obviously. And if you, as Chad's been saying for a month now, if you would have hit on one of Dyson, Kyra, Jackson, I'm missing somebody, Hawkins. I mean, it's not even Hawkins' fault, to be honest.
Lonzo, I mean,
Well, yeah, like the list goes on and on. Unfortunately, Herb's your best asset right now. If you have a chance to land Trae Young, I don't know. Let's see. Let's get to 300. What did I say?
I'm laughing. I'm laughing because I'm just like, Man, it's like a funeral when like you know the person who died like wasn't really shit, but you like, damn, I'm at a funeral. So like he was a good man, you know, he did things his own way. It's like Herb cool, but come on, like let's get serious here. Herb, right? Herb been here like 3 years. They ain't naming no hospitals like wings.
We haven't heard. We have not on Herb Day though.
Yeah,
but listen.
that's the problem. We also got extreme illiteracy and extreme poverty, and that's the problem, right?
Hey,
let's get Herb out of here. If it's for Trae, Herb, you gotta bounce, brother.
It's a tough decision. Tough decision. Go ahead, Leo.
I tell you what though, in comparison to what Chaz just said, at least is not saying that like Jose is not untradeable anymore. At least they've moved on to Herb and saying that, you know, like it's Herb as a person. And one more thing, Justin. This guy with the comment, I hate to tell you, but nobody's running the Pelicans. So you probably would wish that we would do it because like these motherfuckers just sitting on their hands. So I don't know. You know what? It's crazy you say this comment and you say this comment and this team drafted Jackson Hayes at 8. They drafted Dyson Daniels at 8. They traded for fucking Garrett Temple. But you have a problem with how man.
It's a team that hasn't made the playoffs officially in like 10 years. Like you should be hoping for anyone else to be running the Pelicans. Like if this is your favorite team, like you should be hoping anyone other than the people actually running it clearly aren't doing a good job. Like if making the playoffs or being a contender is your bar. So I mean, I don't know, it is a funny comment.
Is this the draft when
Justin
Halliburton went before us, right?
Yeah, pick before. Let's talk about the Philly.
They said that someone just said that the Philly thing was fake, but we can talk Philly. I mean, go ahead.
What you mean?
No, because I saw Bleacher Report that kind of had the same thing about Philly thinking they're going to be able to get Brandon Ingram for this year's a 16th pick this year and like a future first. I think that's a disaster of an idea. I'm openly want to trade Brandon Ingram, and I wouldn't trade him for that package. You could get a similar return at the All-Star break. I think it's totally pointless. If they make a trade for Brandon Ingram where we only get back future picks, I'm out. I find. Let's see if Beans will do the show on my behalf for next year. Call him, see if he'll work for us because I'm out. That would be a catastrophe.
What was the offer you sent in the group chat? Let me see.
It was their pick this year, which I think is 16th overall, and then their 2028 first round pick.
Pick 2 picks for Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, that to me is just point. Just keep him and let him play next year.
Yeah, you're not no. That's a horrible trade. Me and Lito were talking about this 5. Do you like anything that Philadelphia has to offer?
No, I mean for Brandon, nah. It's just not enough. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I can go around the league and find something that's more valuable that I need. The thing about going back to like the Herb thing is almost like you're trading away your smart player to get a higher valued player. Like this almost goes back to my thing about Josh Hart getting traded. Like you traded away a smart player to get a better player. Like you have to do it. No matter how attached you are, like that's a higher grade player. CJ McCollum was a higher grade player than Josh Hart. You had to do it. It was a no-brainer. This is the same, sentiment. It's a no-brainer. But again, back to Philadelphia, they ain't got shit. Like they don't know what they really want to do. Brandon Ingram is their backup option. Fuck, I don't fucking know. We got to get to a point where we're trying to get, better. They don't have anything where the Pelicans get better. Even if we just get off Brandon, like we're not getting better because of it.
Right. Yeah. Chaz, you'd floated some Philadelphia trade ideas about like a month ago. Do you like anything besides Paul Reed on that? It's Paul Reed, right?
Yes.
Shout out to my cousin.
If you could get what?
No, shout out to my cousin. That's all I was saying.
Oh.
Happy birthday, Paul Reed.
If you could get like 4 or 5 firsts, let's say 4 firsts, and 2 of them being the again, it depends, right? Because, for example, let's say you send Brandon Ingram and Larry Nance and whatever to Philly, and you get 4 firsts, and then you send a bunch of shit. You got this huge trade play exception, and you send 6, 7 firsts to fucking Atlanta for Trae Young. Then I love to deal with Philly. Like, and that's the thing. There's only so many teams that are like really asset rich that could help the Pelicans out. Like, because you probably will need a third team. I'm sure the Pelicans don't want to give up their own first at this stage because, injury history, shit like that. Your own first are probably the most valuable. Because regardless of what we think about the Lakers shit, the Lakers finished above the Pelicans. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So their own first is probably the most valuable. So what they really want is another team's first that they can send somewhere else. So I think that's where a team like Philly comes in. Because honestly, man, I don't think Joel Embiid playing no basketball in 2028. I don't think Kawhi playing no basketball in 2028. So if you get picks that, like that far out and you getting 4 and 5 of them and shit like that, then I think, of course, you do it.
Yeah.
But depends on the goal.
What's the goal? What is the goal? All right, so we're about 36 minutes in. I'll probably go for another 30 minutes. Make sure you smash the like button presented by Company Burger, located 4600 Ferret Street. Ross, start with you first. What do you love about the Trae Young, Zion Williamson fit, their 2-man game?
I don't think Zion gets like the credit he deserves for being like an up tempo player. Like, there's always like the conversation around his conditioning or whatever. But I love the pace we would be able to play at in terms of getting up and down the floor in transition. Trae Young is electric in transition. Zion is electric in transition. Zion is great at getting a rebound and pushing the ball up the floor. Trae Young is great at pushing the ball. I like that it would take us from this sort of monotonous, slow-moving half-court offense to something that's more exciting. I've said from the jump, even if that shit doesn't lead to more wins, I don't care because I watch every game, and I would rather watch a more exciting product. Like that's a personal preference of mine. I want to see exciting if you're only going to win so many games, I want to see exciting basketball. So that's like part of it. I mean, I think your ceiling is way higher with Trae Young than it was with Brandon Ingram. But even still, I liked that that to me, it would signal a change in offensive philosophy. It would be the last nail in the coffin that would force you to change offensive philosophy to 2024 basketball, like not 1980s basketball anymore.
All right, Lito. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, listen, I don't know if you've been paying attention. Maybe not. I don't know. But like, I'm gonna give you a fact. Your New Orleans basketball team played a playoff series against another team. They didn't win a game, right? All right. Not only did they not win a game, they couldn't score 100 points in 4 attempts. Like, they had 4 tries and they couldn't score 100 points. And I don't know if you know what I'm saying, if you're aware, but like, that's not good. That's not good. The defense was fine. Check it out. This is the other thing, right? You have CJ McCollum on your team. You have Jonas on your team. You have not great defenders on your team, and there was still a top 6 defense. Like, what did that do for you? Did the defense keep you like I don't understand. Did it buy you like it's not it, bro. Defense is situational, fam. It does not matter. You do not see, unless you're the Boston Celtics and everything is totally fucking switchable, like, which is an anomaly in the NBA. Defense don't matter. Nobody out there playing defense, like, nobody's playing defense like that. Herb Jones is an anomaly. Dyson Daniels can play great defense, but he can't play the other side of the ball, so he's handicapped in that aspect of it. Herb Jones would have been Derrick Jones Jr. in the finals. You saw it, bro. Shoot, you want to shoot them up? We don't care. You need guys who can put the basketball in the hoop.
Can't win a
I'll
game
take-
0-0.
And also, I think the Pacers are a perfect example. They were situational defensively as well. Like they played at a very fast pace. Their offense was going to be their defense for the first 40 minutes, and then with 6 minutes left in the game, they're going to play situational defense and figure it out. Like that's, I think, an important like style. Like I know Dallas when they traded for PJ Washington and oh my God, who's the big thing? Gafford. Defensively got better, but they were a first team. Like offensively, they were they were an offensive minded team. Like the Celtics are just rare. Like you're not going to find any team like the Boston Celtics. But I just think personally, like we've been a top 6 defensive team back-to-back years. We have 0 playoff wins. We cracked. We scored 89 in 2 playoff games, and then we scored like 93. And like if you're just average offensively against the Thunder, just average, you win 2 games. It's a different series if you're just average. But the first game they were horrific, and then game 3 at home horrific. And you know, I think Trae Young completely changes that. I think Trae Young and Zion Williamson give opponents just a lot to worry about every single night. I love that pairing. I think that pairing could be a top 5 duo if they're both healthy. The way Trae Young can shoot the basketball off of PNR. I mean, what do you average, Lito? 11.5 assists this year?
I think 5. I think you put up the potential. Yeah, he averaged like 11. Or
I mean, you can
right at
count.
10.
You can count probably on both your hands how many lobs Zion Williamson got this year. Like how many lobs do you think he actually got this year? Go ahead, Jared.
Maybe 12.
Maybe. Listen, while Ross and Lito was talking, I was writing down positives of Trae Young being with Zion. Let's go with him. But pick and roll, okay. Spain pick and roll, side pick and roll, late game pick and roll. Notice a trend here. You got space, you got alley hoops, you got a finisher. Yeah, you getting to the free throw line. He can show Zion how to get to the free throw line. Diagonal skips, assist. Like there's a ton of positives that I just named in over the course of just 2 minutes of you guys talking. Like this guy brings a lot of positives to a team that needs positives. There's too many offensively negative things that this team does, and he negates Willie Green, in my opinion. The ineptism of Willie Green, he negates. Like I just think a guy like him forces you to play real basketball, forces you to think about the game of basketball in a very finite way. Pick and roll. All right, this is our objective. We're trying to get Zion the ball, or if they double him, I get to shoot. Like, and then you get to play off your advantage. Like he understands that at a high level, and I think you need to do it. I think you need to make this move.
Chaz. The Zion trade fit. The Zion trade fit.
Oh man. Look. just go ahead and I actually said something Ross said, man, on Twitter, and like damn near word for word. I couldn't agree with him more. Like, whether they win a championship or not, people are tired of watching this boring ass product the Pelicans toss out there on the floor, especially the casual fan. The people who aren't diehard fans of the Pelicans, nobody want to watch that bullshit. One player on the team can consistently throw lobs. That's Najee, who's a free agent. And 2 players can consistently make threes. That's Herb and CJ. At least Trae and Zion would be fun to see, man, at minimum. I say you go for it. Truthfully, I ain't got that many untouchable players in this type of scenario. You always go with the talent. Always go with the talent. This man isn't over the hill. He isn't washed up. And truthfully, who the fucking best player ever played with? It might be the DeJounte Murray. It might, John Collins, maybe John Collins. Yeah. But come on, man. Like, come on, man. Well, all right. Yeah, so
the parade.
Yeah, like on the real, it's like, come on, man. Let's make it happen here. Like, ain't no rationale to not doing it. Like, you know what it is, man. A lot of it everyone's entitled to their opinion, but a lot of it is people have like imposter syndrome within themselves. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you ain't gonna be shit because I ain't shit. Like, what, motherfucker? I'm not you. I ain't got that loser mentality. Fuck all that. Let's go. If this is a possibility, let's go ahead and make it happen. It'll be one thing if the Hawks like, no, you can't have them. That's it. That's a whole nother thing. Even with like the Mikal shit, it's like Mikal only wanted to go to one team, like in this scenario, and they still got a hell of a, a fleecing. But on the other hand, you got a guy like Trae. He's giving you out. Same agency as Zion. I don't know how much pressure Zion is really applying. This is what Mr. Lee got to get involved. Truthfully, this is what Mr. Lee got to get involved, and Mr. Lee got to make motherfuckers uncomfortable because there's a lot of fuckery going on, like in this building. So a whole lot of fuckery, whole lot of internal promotions that are undeserved.
I haven't heard that word in a while.
All these bullshit ass PR hires and these promotions, man, do some motherfucking work, man.
Well, this would be a hell of a move. This would be a hell of a first move for Graham.
It don't make no sense that you announce your GM, you make your GM official, and his first move is holding on to all the assets going into the season. What sense does that make?
Would be a hell of a move.
Like, come on, man.
All right, so what's what we're gonna do? Get the fan questions. So we're gonna hear from Crystal Hot Sauce, but if you have any questions, I will star them and read them to the panel. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, and then hit that bell notification, let you know we're going live. Let's hear from Crystal.
I need to clear something up about New Orleans. While our culinary scene might be on fire, our food has never been about heat. It's always been about flavor. And this is how New Orleans does flavor. Are we clear? Crystal, how New Orleans does flavor.
All right, let's get some fan questions. Let's see. Ross, do you believe that Trae really said he wanted to come here?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
I mean, don't him and Zion have some history? Did they play AAU or some shit together?
They didn't?
They're friends.
They're definitely friends.
Trae played with Michael Porter Jr. That was around the main AAU.
Like a USA under 16 team or some shit. Anyway, whatever. Maybe not. Yeah, I think he probably said it. I look. It's not like him wanting out of Atlanta isn't some new rumor or something. I don't know. I don't think it's that out of the question. Chaz just said it. They have the same agency. Yeah, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. Like, look, Zion is an interesting enough talent to where, like, I could, like, an up-tempo guard like Trae, yeah, like, probably be fun as hell to play with Zion. Again, Chaz just talked about it. Who is the best player that he's played with?
Probably Murray, man. It has to be Murray because Murray was an all-star. So I gotta give it to Murray.
Yeah, I don't think. I think he probably said it. Yeah.
Lido from Caleb and Peyton. Thoughts on a Walker Kessler trade?
I love Walker Kessler on this team. I think that would be a good move, a move the Pelicans should be interested in. Obviously depending on what the offer is, what they want back for him. But in the words of Chaz, why stop there? You know what I'm saying? Lowry's over there. Go get Lowry. Go get Colin Sexton. Go, like, why stop? Why limit yourself? Like, get all the players that you desire in the trade. But now, for real, Walker Kessler, I'm good with. Like, I think, keep in mind, you don't have a center on the team at all. Like, there's not a five on the roster, period. So anyone would be good. But yeah. Hey, bring Danny Ainge back. Why stop there?
Let's see. Go to Chaz. BI to Philly, Trae to NO, Pels number 21, Lakers 25, Bucks 27, 2 Philly picks to Atlanta.
Yeah, that's what I would.
3-team
I would
trade.
do something like that. Either that, or I'll call Houston and be like, "Yo, I got Kevin Durant partner here. Play just like him. All I need is a couple of them Suns picks, and I'm sending this to Atlanta, or just give me 3. Send it to Atlanta. Atlanta can totally rebuild. You got 3 and number 1, and I think they've been trying to trade back too because for some reason they don't want to take Klingon first for some reason. I think they want to. Maybe it's a salary issue that they want to like scale back a bit. Well, that would make sense. It's probably a salary issue because I think the first pick is $12 million. So if it went back to 3rd, it might save them a couple million.
Jared, I'm interested in this. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed this one out. PJ, you're wrong. PJ, you're wrong.
Let's say, go ahead.
I don't think the CJ trade was a horrible failure. I don't think he was. I don't think he was supposed to be the PG. To be honest, he probably wanted to be the guy up. Like he was supposed to be the 3rd option, right? Like he was supposed to be the guy just to catch and shoot because you see his catch and shoot numbers have uptick since he's been here. He's been able to stay relatively healthy outside of the lung injury. Like he's been more of a success than anything. I just think the guys around him have failed him rather than he failed the team.
A lot of CJ hate, like a lot of just CJ can go. He actually did. I thought CJ had some good moments here. I mean, shit, Lito, didn't you rank him like one of the top guards ever played for this franchise?
I mean, I don't think that's very. It wasn't very difficult to do. Hey Justin.
Yeah.
I have a question I want to ask myself.
Okay.
It was I think you saw me start that question.
Which one?
Right back to this guy. Hey, if you think offense, you can only win with offense, go for it. It worked so well for them for the past 20. It worked well for them for the past 20 years. Dog, you know what? I'm glad you said that. Let's go down a rundown of this list, right? You've got, and I quote, you've got Lou Amundsen, Al-Farouq Aminu, Tony Allen, Alexis Aginsa. You've got fucking Daryl Armstrong, Hilton Armstrong.
Love Daryl.
Luke Babbitt. You got Jared Bayless, Lonnie Baxter. You got Marco Bellinelli. You got Anthony Brown, Bobby Brown, Devin Brown. You got
which Bobby Brown?
The one with the cocaine jar.
I don't know.
Yeah, all right. That's fair. That's fair. You got Tierra Brown. You got Tierra Brown. You got Peanut Butter Brown, right? You got Autumn Brown. You got, huh?
I'm laughing.
You got Chris Brown. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about for the past 20 years?
Shannon Brown.
Doo Brown. What offense have you been talking about for the past 20 years? I don't understand.
Mo P.
This is a human being that's a human being that didn't have to watch Omer Asik try and catch an entry pass. That's all I know.
Good old stone hands.
Yeah,
motherfucker.
that gentleman wasn't in the building to watch.
I'll never forget the night when we extended both Ajinka and Ashik. Did we do it the same night or something ridiculous? I was like, oh
yeah,
we
it was
did.
the same exact night. Yes,
it was the same exact night. I'll never forget it. That's how crazy that those signings were. Oh, Ajinka was terrible.
Dante Cunningham.
I like Dante. Let's see. Hey, in the chat, name the most random Pelican/Hornets player. Just right now. I want to see some of the names. Munson, huh? Lou Munson.
Lou, yeah, good old Lou.
Kobe. We'll go with Ross. No, Ross had no. Carlo. I don't think he's going to play much.
Are you talking about an NBA?
Yeah.
Like regular season games or summer league?
I'm thinking regular season games.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, but like, to what degree do we think Frank from UNO can play next year?
Frank will shoot that motherfucker.
Or who was the guy who asked the question last time? The old guy that you said you'd rather him play center? what was his name? He had a real regular name, like Joe Richardson or something.
Joe Guillory or some shit.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I mean, anyone can play. Everyone gets a trophy.
Yeah. Damn. All right. So wow, there's some shout out Tyreek Evans. Grievous Vasquez.
Come on, man.
Right there. Stacey Ogman. I forgot Isaiah Thomas.
Tim Frazier was about to turn the world on fire, man.
Who was the little
Y'all
white?
ever won?
Who was the
Dandico?
little? No. This would have been like maybe right after the Vasquez. We had a little white point
Jimmer?
guard. No, not Jimmer. Like a real white dude.
Like one day, I know you're talking about.
He played for like a week or two.
Ishmael.
Somebody will post it.
Shout out to Alonzo G.
Chaz, what center do they go for?
It don't matter, and that's the sad part. It don't matter because best center in basketball. Two of the best centers in basketball. One got eliminated this year. Another one has never made the finals. It's such an irrelevant position. All you really need is a competent motherfucker, and you can do center by committee. To me, it's all about the backcourt right now, man. You know, again, I'm still a person who feel like if you find a way to get a couple seconds, go and niggas getting up with this. Go and hold on, let's say Alexis, let's say Alex. All right, but go and just go get Nick Richards, man, if possible. I don't think you need some huge name, truthfully. You get Nick Richards, you sign another Mason Plumlee scrappy guy, and then because you still got CJ, you still got other assets you can move to go get you a young guy, and you still got, if you ever manage to hit in the draft, you're fine. The Titan, Gustavo Ayón, the Mexican Titan. I remember.
Well, can I ask a question? With this trade the Nets just did, obviously signaling a sort of a reset there. Like, what happens? What do y'all think ultimately happens with Nick Claxton now? I mean, there are rumors that he was going to try and get $20 million a year on the open market. It seems unlikely to me that Brooklyn would pony up for that at this point. I don't know why they would. 25, 26-year-old center that it's not going to be a centerpiece of a team. I wonder if that sort of opens up sign and trade opportunities there, or if they're probably. You wouldn't think they would just let him walk, but I guess I want to hear y'all's opinion on that.
They might have to. They might have to bring him back just only because now with this cashier picks, you need as much tradable salary as like those mid contracts as possible. Like they probably gonna try to move Ben Simmons, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith. So now you bring in a guy, Nick, let him just run wild, no real expectations, let him do his thing and keep developing. And if it's time to strike, that'll be the lone attractive asset you got, probably, because I don't think people view Cam as an attractive asset anymore. Maybe Dorian Finney-Smith, but certainly not Cam.
That's true.
What are y'all's thoughts on? I have an interesting topic because I was shocked with some of y'all's answers. Brook Lopez. Some of y'all liked him.
I'd love it.
Why?
1 year left on his deal. He's still an elite rim protector. I think the last 3 or 4 years combined, he shot like 44% from the corners. He knows how to play with other superstar, like another power forward superstar that plays a similar style to Zion. There's just a ton of reasons. I think he's averaged like 79 games a season in the last few years. A guy who's totally changed his game around. I think we've all said, if you're going to try and find a center, like the two skill sets that we'd be looking for that we haven't been able to put around Zion or really anyone at that position is someone that can shoot and spread the floor and someone that can sort of protect the rim. Well, like he checks both of those boxes. And if it fails miserably, like he deals up at the end of the year, that to me is like an absolute. In fact, if I had to list centers that would be like potentially available for us to trade for this offseason, just like ignoring everything else, he might be the top of the list. Like that's how much I think it would be a good fit.
What's Sharp's salary? And anybody know? I'm sorry, Justin. Go ahead. About Brook. My bad. Go ahead.
Jared, go ahead.
No, yeah. No, I was just gonna say like that makes the most sense. The one thing Ross didn't say, he's an elite screener. Like,
Yeah,
you don't have to teach him how to screen. He knows how to play alongside somebody like Zion. Pick and pop. He doesn't get in the way of Trae. If you trade for Trae, like it makes obvious sense. Can shoot from the corners. Like, yeah. That would be a no-brainer, especially with 1 year left. Yeah, easy.
Leo, you want to talk about Brook Lopez real quick?
I mean, shit, I had him on my short list of centers going into the offseason last year. So that's why when you texted to me, I said I would die laughing if they made that move, because I'm like, in my opinion, the writing's been on the wall there, and it's looking like maybe his time in Milwaukee is up anyway. They need to change their style of play for the most part. I'm with Ross. I mean, he's got limited time left on his deal. He's still a solid rim protector. Can provide spacing. Is a competent basketball player. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could throw the ball of Brook in the post if center's still playing a post. I don't know. And he could get a bucket. You know what I'm saying? Or he could stand in the corner and he could shoot it at 38%. I think either way, it would be a win. Again, hey, you don't have a center on the team.
Would
call his brother too.
Would we be the tax if you get Brook Lopez?
I don't give a fuck. I don't know.
For who? I mean,
I don't
depends what
care.
you send out. I think he's only making like 20 mil. Depends what you're sending out. But yeah, who cares?
Yeah, it makes 20 mil, but
That ain't my fucking.
it's not. Chaz, go ahead. You wanted to ask something?
Oh, now I was just thinking about Sharp if they have with the Nets, if they having a fire sale. But man, I was just looking over some of the numbers just now, bro. There's a way. I don't expect this to happen because I don't trust nobody in their front office. In fact, I agree with Tim Lay. I feel like there should be an investigation. Get the same people that be investigating them churches, and you're gonna find something. I'm just saying, it's an anonymous tip. You're gonna find something. But that being said, I did a bunch of I just did the scenario, the Streetway deal with Phoenix. I'm sorry, with Atlanta, Philly, and New Orleans, and it's like, bruh, there's scenarios where the Pelicans can give Atlanta damn near 2 max salary slots, damn near, and about 4 picks without going into the tax themselves. Like, there's scenarios like that where it's like, let's say, like, I can upload it if y'all want, but it's like the Pelicans, to my knowledge, they're about roughly $16 million below the luxury tax, right? Let's say you do a deal for, it's just easier to upload this. But let's say you do a deal for Trae Young, Bogdanovich, and AJ, right? Let's say you send, here you go right here. Let's say you do a deal like this. Now, of course, you can remove AJ from the deal. This is just hypothetical. Let's say you do Brandon and Larry to the Sixers, Trae, Bogdan, and AJ to the Pelicans to give like Atlanta maximum cap relief. And you send them Jordan Hawkins and 4 firsts. In fact, if they don't like these first, you can give them that late. Well, I wouldn't give them. I don't know. The Lakers first kind of because you think about the Cooper Flag thing. But let's say give them the Lakers first. Fuck it. Fuck that first. Right? And if they want another one of your picks, you give them that too. They got $59 million in cap space. They got a bunch of picks. You're still below the luxury tax. And Atlanta gets Lil Kevin Durant and Mr. Irreplaceable and Larry Nance. So, like, come on, like, there's so not that Atlanta would take this. I'm just saying these are the type of deals that if I'm the Pelicans, I think that they're looking at like, well, fuck, we gotta find. That's why I think they're trying so hard to find a third team. Like, we need to find a third team so we can send them those assets and find somebody to take on a bad contract or two. You know, things of that nature. But not all this is for naught if if David Griffin truly just dislikes Trae Young for whatever
But
weird
it doesn't.
reason.
But like, okay, so why do you think he dislikes him?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't know. He might have touched his hand and Trae moved his hand or something. I don't know. It could be a number of reasons. I think the rumor mill, bro. I think it's the rumor mill because everyone talks and we only hear some of the things. You know what I mean? We only hear some of the stuff, and I think it's the expectation of being good. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is where being crazy comes into play. You got Brandon, who isn't very good, and he's already gotten a coach fired. I don't give a fuck if Trae, who's very good, got 1 or 2 coaches fired. Who cares? That's what good players are able to do. You know what I'm saying? Josh Hart and Brandon Ingram shouldn't be getting coaches fired. That's not what we in this for, bro. It's not what we in this for. So I don't give a fuck if Trae got Nate McMillan fired. Nate McMillan gets fired from everywhere. Who cares? Who gives a fuck? Like, you talk about the locker room issues. It's a fragile locker room already. Like, and the thing, like the only people that like get along in the locker room are doing all kind of off the wall shit. Like, come on, man. Like, so this isn't a toxic locker room. This isn't a cancerous, toxic situation. No one has a problem with this. Man, this isn't insane. This isn't insane. You, David Griffin, you not saying y'all need to get this out the building. Like, come on, man. Like, I don't give a fuck what Trae Young been accused of. I ain't never seen him bite nobody. I ain't never seen him dress up like no hot dog. I ain't never seen him make people have a hot dog eating contest. Like, I just ain't never seen. He ain't never averaged less than 20 in the fucking playoffs. I just ain't never seen these things.
You know what I love about what I love about this comment is that Trae's not a nice guy. That's why. Sometimes you need an asshole like a villain to lead you to.
Come on, man.
Like
that motherfucker would be perfect here.
Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Perfect.
He would take over the city.
Imagine if Derek Carr. Imagine if Derek Carr had
he
that.
Would take over the city.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now.
Like, bro, if Trae Young got traded here, people would forget about Zion. Like, personality wise, that's just Zion would have to be who he was supposed to be this whole time to like keep up with the Trae Young aura. Because all that shit he does. Go back and watch that Knicks series. They're gonna hate that motherfucker forever. Like, it ain't gonna never go away. It's like, come on,
man. Took a ball at half court.
Come on, man. And it was the underdog. Trae Young ruined Ben Simmons' career.
He really did, for real.
He ended Ben Simmons' career.
He broke that team. That's crazy. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Trae Young in New Orleans. Y'all got anything else?
Compassion.
everyone just like scoffed at me, like
everybody know it ain't happening. That's why we all mad.
So we're gonna be live tomorrow, the NBA draft at 7:30. We'll react to the NBA draft, and we'll do a show live on who we pick or if we trade anybody. So a lot of coverage tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, helps out the channel. And shout out to everybody on the stream, especially Chaz, Jarrett, and Lito. Man, y'all been absolutely, and Chris, y'all been absolutely killing the content every single night. There's been something to talk about and watch on this network, and we really appreciate y'all's support. So thanks for everything. We'll see y'all tomorrow.